Hello internet people. Quick update from yesterday. We were debugging this issue causing the delete action to fail sometimes. The error looked like this. We figured out that the issue is caused in a very specific scenario, and that is when we are trying to delete a build which succeeded in some truths but failed in some truths. I think that's where we ended up our previous session, or possibly this is what I figured out a few minutes after we ended the session. Anyway, I already fixed the issue, so let me walk you through it. Let's jump to pull requests, because I opened the pull request. It turns out that this commit caused the issue. So previously, when we were deleting the RPMs from Pulp, we checked if the response was okay, i.e. returning 200 status code, and if yes, we considered it to be successful, and if not, we failed to delete. We considered it to be a failure. This is one of the errors that we see in the logs right now because of the issue. So this commit changed it and made it to be this. Basically, if there are created resources, which is unfortunate naming, I guess, because I think it means like affected resources, because we are deleting them, not creating them. I think it means affected resources effectively. So if there are any such resources, then it's successful, and if there aren't, then it's failure. So this is done for all truths for given build. This doesn't mean given build, but effectively this is done for every truth for a given build, even the failed ones. And I think it's obvious, for failed ones, we didn't produce any RPMs, and therefore we didn't upload any RPMs to Pulp, and therefore when trying to delete them, we can't. There aren't any affected resources by the delete action, and therefore it goes to the failure block. So what I'm proposing now is this change, which goes back to the previous condition if response is okay. But as Dennis pointed out, this will be okay probably every time, because the task API returns only 200. I think there is a possibility it will it will return non-OK status code in the case of Pulp outage or something like that. I'm not sure. But he pointed out that we should check the state returned in the data. So if state is completed, we can consider it to be a success. And with this change, we are not seeing the bug anymore. I didn't want to, well, I wanted to add a log information, what resources have been deleted. We are logging the resources also here, but they are in the form of PRNs, which should be the future identifier, but so far all of our code on the Copr side works mainly with the majority of our code works with the typical Pulp refs, which is here. So I'm logging them also. This should completely fix the issue. I tested it on stage and it worked fine. So we have only this comment from Dennis, and we addressed it. Therefore, I'm putting it. Therefore, let's wait for a review from our other team members and eventually merge this. In the meantime, I was working on several internal stuff, which are like long-term tickets, and they take a lot of time. But right now I have only half an hour, and I want to fix a very simple Pulp-related ticket. So let's try it. I didn't search. I didn't do any prep beforehand, so hopefully we'll find it soon. If we try to search point or link, no. Download a single RPM from Pulp. This is it. So often, I know this is not the intended use case, but often I download RPMs from Pulp like this. So let's go to a project. Typically, when you want to install something from Copr, you do dnf copr enable the project, and then you dnf install the package by its name. That is the intended use case or usage. I don't know what's the proper word. And this is how you should do it. And this is how I do it, of course. But in some cases, I like to do this approach. I open a build, I jump to the results here, and I click here, and well, I click on it and it downloads. There should be probably, yeah, you get, yeah, I download it like by clicking, or I copy the link and I do dnf install the link. So this works perfectly when the results are stored on Copr backend. But when we upload the results to Pulp, these files gets removed from the backend results, and therefore you need to go to Pulp to manually download them. But there aren't any link to go to Pulp, so if you are a user and don't know the project uses Pulp, then you like have no idea how to go there and so on. So my idea was to add another link here. So instead of go to Copr frontend build, well, the link will be here to go to frontend build, like this. But there will be a new link pointing to the Pulp, so to the Pulp results. So let's try to do that. We have half an hour exactly, so let's see if we can finish it in time. First, let's figure out where this code lives. Let's do rg go to Copr frontend build in my Git directory, and it is not in the Copr upstream repository, but actually in the Ansible repository. As a file that is put probably to Copr to Copr backend server into etc light HTTP directory, I guess. So we can probably take a look on it. Yes, I don't want to see any of this right now. And go to here. So this is a template, Jinja 2 template of a PHP file. I'm not sure if there are any conditions or what is the variable that we put here. But if we search for go to, so it is here 2 times, 3 times actually. And it makes sense because if we are here, it goes to the frontend build. If we go upwards, oh, this is too much. Maybe go here. It says go to Copr frontend project. So go to Copr frontend build, go to Copr frontend project, and I guess if we are one more upwards, it goes to Copr frontend. So can we do some PHP mode? Yes. Where is this used? Frontend euro text. It's used here in the body. Okay. And that's the only usage. Okay, so I mean printing like this. Okay, never mind. Let's just do a new line here. Entity if. So this is the exact same. And what if we put it again right below? Maybe with something like this. Now, of course, we need to somehow test it, and my suspicion is this is not in... Yeah, I cannot test this locally in my Dockerized environment because there the file definitely isn't used there, because this is light HTTP template and we use Nginx in the Dockerized environment, which isn't intentional. This is that is a historical leftover and should be migrated to light HTTP, but we didn't get to it. Either way, there is no way to test this in the Dockerized environment. So we'll have to test it directly on the stage machine. Now I could SSH to the stage machine, open the file in Vim, edit it there. But I suspect it will be more changes, and I want to use some like comfortable environment. So I will try to connect on the machine using Emacs Tramp. This is a new thing that I do, so it potentially we may hit some error and fail to connect and edit it and so on. So the plan B is to SSH and Vim. But let's try it. So I have this Tramp menu command, and I can do Copr B dev. Yes, this is our staging instance, and we will connect to the server. For some reason, Tramp is much slower than like SSH, but never mind. Now we can Ctrl+X, Ctrl+F to find file, and this will be in etc light HTTPD probably. If not, we can RG and find it, but I suspect it will be here. So we are searching for dir generator. Dir generator. And I cannot see it here, so maybe we'll have to... Okay. Maybe we'll have to find it. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it like this. Where is this copied? Let's jump to the git Fedora infra Ansible and git grep this. So we can see the playbook copies the template to here. Ctrl+X, Ctrl+F, paste the path. This is the file on the staging machine. So let's delete all of it and let's take this version. Now remember, on the left is our code on on my computer, maintained by Git, and here we have on the right we have the staging machine code, and we see this twice. This was to demonstrate production, so Copr staging. Let's go here. Let's go on staging, and we have the Pulp test deleting from yesterday, so we can try it. We can test it on that, and you can see, go to the Copr frontend build, go to the Copr frontend build again. Now we should change this to okay. By the way, I don't know PHP. Let's do not frontend URL text, but Pulp. URL text, go to Pulp, results for this build. Sounds reasonable. Again, Pulp, go to Pulp, results for this project, and once again go to Pulp, sure, why not. Now we can, this is if, else, if, and else, so we have this defined in all cases. Now we can do Pulp, URL text, refresh here. Is something happening? Don't tell me that I have to restart the server every time. I don't think so, because it didn't require the first time. We are, yeah, oh, dummy me. This is Amazon CDN, content, yes, CDN. Therefore it is cached, and therefore we don't see the changes, but we can go to non-cached version. It is described in docs, Pegger, Copr, FAQ, should be here. CDN, non-cached, see? People ask for it every time. So here is the non-cached variant for the production. And I suppose if we put dev here, yes, this is our non-cached staging. So let's close all of this and replace the host name here with the non-cached version, and straight away we can see the change. To be absolutely sure, we can do build, refresh, and it is here. So it works. We can change the code as we please. Now we somehow need to figure out the URL, and this will be maybe a bit more problematic because backend probably doesn't know it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So to show what I'm thinking, if we go to SSH and go to our front-end instance and open this config, we can see Pulp content URL here. Okay. This is front-end, but this is backend. Now backend has its own config, etc Copr bear. Now if you search Pulp here, there's nothing. Every time we point to every time we point to Pulp, it somehow goes from the front end. So we may be fucked, I don't know. We can of course change the Ansible playbook to, oh yes, so we are in the realm of templates, right? If we go back to the left, which is the, oh yeah, to the left, this is the template. There must be, yes, there is frontend base URL as a variable, which means if you open another window and go to, we've seen it here, the backend tasks main, backend tasks main, this task copies the dir generator to the correct directory, right? It somehow needs to pass the variable, or the variable is global. So if we search for frontend base URL, frontend base URL in this repo, git grep frontend base URL in this repo, this is defined as a variable, and then it is used in templates and nothing passes it, so it's automatical. So if we take a look at Copr AWS or Copr Dev AWS, Copr AWS or Copr, it was Copr Dev AWS, Pulp, and it is here, which is perfect. Now we can therefore assume this will be available in the template. So the same way as we use frontend base URL, we can use Pulp base URL, which is going to be Pulp content URL. Pulp content URL. Yes, it's the same. So once we have Pulp base URL defined here, we can construct the frontend base URL. It is used here. So on the same places we can construct the correct URLs. Now when we have this URL and we want to go from it to a build, we need to join username, project name, root name. What about build? Likely not. So we won't be pointing to build actually. Yes, it's not separated by build in Pulp. It's separated only by the project. So we cannot actually go to frontend. Where are we right now? Yes, this is our this is our code, and we did go to pulp results for this build. We cannot do that. This is not possible. This is not technically possible. There is no such concept. So we need to do the same as below. So for this project, and the user needs to figure out, needs to match the builds manually by version or something like that. What confuses me is that this is not evaluated. Oh, I know, because I copied it. I copied it from the template to... Yes, I copied it from a template to an evaluated one, which I shouldn't have done that, but well, whatever now. This is kind of schizophrenic because I keep changing the file on two places. So let's do it this way. We will do all the changes on the stage one and then put it to the Git repo. So let's close this so it doesn't confuse us. And let's continue here. So on every place where this front-end base URL is used, we need to generate the path. And it will be called not front-end URL, but pulp URL. And it will not be created from front-end base URL, but pulp base URL. And we already established that it is base URL user project chroot. So the chroot is here as part of the build ID. So maybe we have the chroot itself available here. I don't know. But anyway, this is base URL. There is no Coprs. It's straight after it is user. So base URL user or owner, the same thing, project. After that it's only chroot. Chroot. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's mark this and search for chroot. There is no chroot mentioned in the file. I would go the path of the least resistance and just point here. The user can figure it out. The same exact thing will be done here. Okay, so we have pulp URL and pulp text URL here, pulp URL and pulp text URL here, and we have pulp URL text only here, and here you can see it is defined as, like for the front end, it is defined as front-end URL equals front-end base URL, which we have here. We will do the same. This will be pulp URL pointing to pulp base URL. Now we can definitely put the pulp URL here. You see, yeah, this the wheel. This because we are editing remotely. So we have a link pointing to pulp URL, save the file. For some reason, it refuses to save. Yes, it wrote. So let's close this, refresh this. It now says for this project, open. Where did it? Yes, because this is a template and it was not evaluated correctly and so on. So this is the best guess. Now we basically need to go back to the YAML. We're going to close up. I have 3 minutes until meeting, so I'm going to close up and explain the following steps. So this is the template in the YAML. This is the template in the Ansible directory. If we delete it and put every change we made here and diff it, we can see exactly what we did. We created pulp base URL in the same pattern that frontend base URL was, and used it on the same places, but it now points to the pulp instead of Copr frontend. And this is the only place where it is rendered, the same way that the frontend URL was rendered before. Now this points to nothing on the server, but once we commit this to the Ansible repository, run the playbook, it should generate the resulting file properly and point to correct locations. But we don't have any way to test it other than committing, pushing, running playbook, and seeing for ourselves. So I'm going to do that afterwards. But there is one more problem. Not all Copr projects and their builds store the results into Pulp. Only selected ones. There will be a migration and ultimately everything will store the results to Pulp, but not yet. So we don't want to show this to every build, only such a build that is stored in Pulp, which means we will have to put this, and not this whole, this, and maybe even these blocks to a condition specific to Pulp, specific to projects that use Pulp as their results. Now, for their results, no, not as their results. Now, I'm not sure how to do it yet. I will have to figure it out after the meeting. But we've put a solid dent into the issue and it's almost finished. Yeah, I would say solid progress in half an hour. Yeah, let's finish later, and I'm not sure if this will be done on a record or not, but I will definitely explain what I did if I do it offline or not on video. Anyway, running on a meeting. See you.